Okay, maybe you have planned this summer some different adventures, or you are working on your materials that you'll launch in the fall. Well, I want to give you some ideas that spark inspiration and gives you some fun options to build into your training materials, courses, workshops, events, whatever you need it, even meetings. So join me in finding out how you can build in a pick your own adventure. Hi, and welcome back. Do you remember when you were a kid reading books that were pick your own adventure? So you would pick something and be able to flip forward to a different chapter and kind of create the story you wanted to read. Those adventure books were pretty cool, and I should actually look into getting some because I remember having those and what joy to be able to control part of the outcomes. Well, when you're creating training materials, the self-directed learning is very helpful to a lot of people, that they can pick the path of what meets their needs in this moment. Being able to pick from a menu of different modules, many videos. But there's other things that you can do with live workshops, whether you're online or in person, where you can add this element of pick your own adventure and make it a lot of fun. Fun for you and fun for your participants. Now, it can be a little bit of a different feel for not knowing exactly what is going to roll out, but especially when you have a series and it's a fun engagement game tool that you can do too. So you can do it big or small. I'm going to give you some ideas of how you can build this in and what are different ways you can do this. So join me and stay tuned to the end when I mention some other upcoming hot tips and videos that are coming soon. My name is Patricia Regier with Regier Educational Services, author of the brand new book, The Online Shift, with over 101 pro tips for online facilitators just like you. So even if you're moving into hybrid or blended audience, different contexts, the online situations and trainings and leading is here to stay. So we have a lot of resources that you can use here on the channel, wherever you listen to your podcasts, watch your videos, read your blogs and articles, or access other resources such as tools, courses, and the book as well. Or if you're interested, you can connect with me if you would like me to speak to your group as well or work with your group. All right, let's get back to the topic. So pick your own adventure. There are so many fun ways that you can build this into your workshops or meetings or courses and series, masterminds. You can have a lot of fun. So a simple way is you can mail ahead of time. If you're mailing a box of goodies for someone to open up for your workshop, so even if you're not in person, you can still mail it out. You just plan ahead, or even email something as possible too. This might just trigger so many exciting ideas for you. So simple way. You send 2 envelopes, 2 scenarios, maybe they're case studies or different things that when you send people into breakout rooms, they as a group have to pick one or the other, or you can name their breakout room number 1 or number 2, 3, 4, and they have to open up that envelope when they get into that room. You might be randomly putting people into rooms, and then so there's so many elements you can control or leave it up to the opportunities of being random. And then when they open that up, that they can't open it until that day, that makes it a lot of fun. A colleague was just telling me this morning too. She does an activity where she has them pick one object or the other. So that made me think of, okay, I'm going to ask you, tell me which object you want me to talk about, and then I may have a story related to the one, or analogy, or a metaphor, or a little mini lesson and they can fit anywhere into the series and session. So it can be that toolbox, goodie box of, okay, would you like me to tell you this story today? The story that's attached to this big eraser or this magnifying glass. So you can use objects and what that means, and it gives control to your participants in a fun and innovative and creative way. You could do this in courses, in workshops. You can do it in, different levels and ways to do it. Another great way, let me show you, that you can build in the mystery of adventure and selecting something of what you're going to talk about, especially if you have a series. And it adds a different element too, that people want to come back to every session because they're not sure which session you're going to use. So for example, if I was running a series of workshops to talk about a variety of different ways that we can create engagement, and it might be looking at Howard Gardner's academic research about different learning types or preferences, the multiple intelligences of what sparks people's engagement, and just different ways we can layer in, a variety of ways we can learn. So I could add all of the learning preferences into this name picker wheel or wheel of names. It's great for draws, but I can also have sessions ready for every single one, and I can spin I could do it as a poll where everybody picks which one they want, and then I talk about that lesson that time. Or I can, so that I have them all ready, and I don't even know. That adds a whole other element of being ready for any of those sessions. And then once that session has been used up, it gets taken out of the poll or out of the wheel of names for the next one. So I can click remove, but adding these fun elements of, okay, so I would talk about action, ways we can have active learning or kinesthetic. So for example, I'm going to ask you to type into the comments what of these ideas, after you've heard all of the different ways that you can create this pick your own adventure into your training sessions, which one do you like the most? I'm giving you a call to action, something where you're typing, but we have a whole bunch of ideas of how you can build in some activities engagement. But that is another way where you can build an adventure for yourself and your participants, poll where they're picking, or random where you're just doing it through a wheel of names like this as well. Okay, so this is another fun way. And if you want a tutorial about any of these subtopics, definitely let me know so I can create a little tutorial about how did I do that. So PowerPoint, or you might be using a different slide deck presentation. Canva has slides. There's so many different ways that you can build in visuals and other things. But with PowerPoint, did you know that you could also build in a pick your own adventure? So on this slide, I could ask you, now I would fill it in, different topics, subtopics. Maybe I'm talking about the learning experience journey, and some pro tips that I have from my book as well. So I have a keynote and a workshop, and we can get into different examples and ways that we can consider the before, during, and after a workshop or session or event and learning training series. And maybe I list these different shapes as the promo or the prelude or the presence, one of the different parts of the journey, because maybe as a group or as an individual, even this could be part of individual training and coaching too. Where do you want to start? Do you want to focus on this piece first? And then, this is so exciting, let's say you want to talk about the prelude, the beginning of a workshop. What are the elements that you need to consider to really set the space up and the experience up for success, for the learning? So I can click onto that shape and it will jump to that particular shape. And then I have a shape up here to bring me back to the whole thing. So if I pick this one, let's say the presence of how you are on camera or in the room or online, it jumps to that session. And I can do that with the whole slide deck. It's sort of skip logic that you would have with surveys, or you can build that into online courses so that people are partly in control of the learning. And when they are part of that, the decision making, what they care about, then they will learn more. And that's all part of the best practices with adult learning as well. I would love to know what sparked your ideas the most. What aspects of this is really going to, it lit your light bulbs, and as to how you're going to design your learning experience, the training, whether it's a self-directed course or a live experience, you can really bring in that element of unknown. It can be a little nerve-wracking that you, as the facilitator, trainer, or leader, is leaving things open. But when you're prepared, it adds another element of fun for you as well as a facilitator and trainer, and certainly for your participants. Now, when you have a group and they might be picking in a poll one item and a couple people would have gone somewhere else, just assure everybody you're going to go to that one on another day. And they will also have that choice as well. But whether it's an individual or a group, this is fun to add this in, to pick your own adventure. I would love to hear from you. What are you going to try? How did it go? Does this make you nervous? How confident are you? And sometimes too, it is stretching us a little bit, but that's okay. That brings in that excitement too, which is really important for our presence and how we are engaged, and how we can facilitate engagement. So my name is Patricia Regier with Regier Educational Services. If you want to connect with me in different ways, you can even be on our email list. And then these videos, blogs, podcasts, all these options directly go into your email once a week. So thanks for checking this out. I would love to hear from you. So I'll be going to look into the comments, and next time I will be also giving you other tips, tutorials, and ideas, partly based on what you would like to hear about. Oh, and a couple bonus tips that I was mentioning at the beginning as well. So I will link these into the chat too. I've purchased these conversation starters. So sometimes too, we're picking from the deck, and that's another way you can, what's the question going to be, or you've selected a bunch that works for that series, but you're going to pick out a different question each time, and you don't even know what the question's going to be as well. So, what did you learn last year? Like, so if it was a year-end series, and these are conversation starters too that are great for get to know you. So maybe you're sending your group into random breakout rooms for a brief time to just get to know each other. So I could just pick a question, put it up to the camera so that everybody can see, and read it out loud as well so that everybody can hear it. And that's their question, and invite them to take a picture of it or write it down. Maybe I have someone writing down in chat as well what that question was, or taking a screenshot. I will also list, this is another great resource, and I'll list their facilitator cards where there's different ideas and things in here too. So having a toolbox, and I have others as well, a toolbox of resources that you can pick from, or I have a lot of books that I pull from and different activities. So you could also, for icebreaker warm-up group activities, you can have a few, and your group can pick which one you're going to lead that particular day. So fill up your toolbox. It makes it easier on the spot. And also, if all of a sudden a guest speaker doesn't show up, you've also, maybe it's the the segment at the end, you can continue your group conversation, or you can have some things in your back pocket that you can pull out to fill in the time if you need it. So I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for staying to the end for these bonus tips as well. Again, my name is Patricia Regier, and my hope for you is that you're able to facilitate engaging learning experiences so that you turn an audience into participants. Thanks again.